Blake's Buzz Live. Buzz, 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 buzz. It's Blake's Buzz Live. Buzz, 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 buzz. It's Blake's Buzz Live. More, hate less, read comics. It's Blake's Buzz Live.
Buzz, buzz, babies.
What's up, Buzz babies? It's Blake. It's Wednesday. It's new comic book day. There were some cool books coming out. I reviewed The Devil That Wears My Face. You guys should check that out on Substack. Pick it up when you're out shopping. It's great. Mad Cave's got a great new book from David Papose and Alex Cormack, two talented people. And then also everybody's talking about that DWJ. That's Daniel Warren Johnson for all you people who don't know shit out there. Sorry, but like he got the new Transformers book out, which is also good. But also, you want to know what's really good is this comic we're about to talk about tonight. I've got two awesome creators that are coming live. It's already tomorrow where they are. They're coming live from across the planet to tell you guys about their awesome book, which is what I'm calling the autumnal kaiju event of the autumn. It sounded better in my head. I swear to God, the comic is way better than my introduction. I swear. I've got Gary Proudley and Mitch Collins here. They are here to talk about Kongutan versus Kraken. What's up, gentlemen? How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you, Blake.
Nice. I'm stoked to have both of you on. Gary's been on the show before, and I just love him so damn much. He's just a great guy.
What's not to love about Gary?
Right? There's so many things, and then like when you think you can't love him more, he sends you fucking high quality scotch in the mail, and then gets you drunk from across the world. Like it's just you can't ask for more. But yeah, it's I'm really excited. To have you guys on. Mitch, this is my first time meeting you, getting to talk to you. This is my first. I've read the Play-Doh, so it's not my first interaction with your work. It's my first interaction with you. But like we kind of mentioned in the green room, you guys are doing something a little bit different than you guys have done before in the scheme of indie comics. So I got real quick just to kind of start it off, and you guys can fight over who takes this, but Gary mentioned he's going to be at SDCC next year, and he's already set and ready to go. So let's pretend I'm walking by your table. I see some cool ape variants on the counter, and I slow down, and you see me look at that comic, and then you reach out and grab me. And give me your con pitch on what Kongutan versus Kraken is. Like, let's let the audience know.
Would you like me to do that one, Mitch?
Yeah, go for it, Gary.
Okay, we've got a 60-foot tall orangutan, loosely based on Gigantopithecus, which went extinct about 200,000 years ago, and a 120-foot long squid, which is loosely based on the giant squid, which is still around. They don't like each other very much. That's it. That's your setup. Enjoy. Sometimes comics are allowed to just be fun, and that's what this one is. It's 22 pages of fun.
And it's so much fun. Yeah, it's fun and it's action, and like I love that Kongutan likes he's got like a soft spot for the human kids or humans in general. It seems that surprised me initially reading this book, right? Because I don't want to spoil much, but it starts off with a bad human interaction, and then ends with some very positive human interactions, right? And then in the midst of that, he's fighting this oceanic beast. But it was an interesting take on are they considered kaiju? Like, how tall technically do you have to be a kaiju? Are there limits? Are there limitations? Are there restrictions? Does anybody know? Tell us in the chat.
I have no idea.
You have to be. It's like the museum. It's like the amusement park signs, right? When you're like waiting for the roller coaster, it's like you have to be this tall to be a kaiju, and like it's like 75 feet or more. I don't know. Or kaiju to me, he's fucking big and causes damage and has cool fights with other big damage causing beasts. Like that's kaiju to me. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck,
it's a duck.
Yeah, it's a fucking duck.
Yeah.
Someone out there's like, it could be a mallard. Well, fuck you. No. Sorry to the chat if anybody here just loves mallards. I like those green-headed weirdos too. I'm just saying. We got Ronan. Ronan's in the chat saying hey. He's over where you guys are. You guys are all. It's the Blake's Buzz Australian show today. Is everybody's over there? Like,
I think as well.
Yeah, like I don't know. You guys just like me over there for some reason. I don't know. Like not so much here.
Sensibility.
My fellow countrymen don't give a shit. No, I'm just kidding. Some people like it. Oh shit, we got what's up, Jason? Jason, a kaiju mallard. Maybe that'll be later on in a Kickstarter from these guys. It's something to think about. Like the quack like sends out like Godzilla like blast. It's like air pressure knocks. You guys, if you guys want me to write with you, I don't have anything going on at all.
It just about writes itself, doesn't it?
It does, right?
yeah.
But I get on that note with this notion of like, of kaiju and I like that this is based on like evolutionary history too, right? Like these beings are the giant squid is still here, lurking in the shadows and building fear and a great deal for movies and stuff. But I mean, we know they're there. Like we found pieces of them, we found carcasses and like stuff like that. But how did this concept come to be? Like, how were you just sitting around and you were like, are you just like a giant? Are you just like a big kid, Gary? And you're like, what if Thor fought the Hulk? You're like one of those, and it's like, who would win? But you're like, who would win in a prehistoric battle? Or like,
I mean, yeah, actually, you know what? If you don't mind me just searching something on my computer, I can tell you exactly when it was.
Yeah.
I put out a tweet. Actually, no, I'm not going to search for it. Put out a tweet saying, why has King Kong never fought the Kraken?
Oh, nice.
And then, those ideas that never disappear from your head?
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those. It just kept sticking in my head.
Yeah.
And I did some research and found out that King Kong is public domain. But when you use him, Universal tends to just throw lawyers at you anyway.
Really?
Because that scares people.
Fucking people.
And it scared me enough. So I looked up and found this like old megafauna Gigantopithecus, which they don't know exactly what it looks like, but it seemed to be most related to an orangutan.
Okay.
And they lived in like Southeast Asia and southern China like 100,000, 200,000 years ago. And they were enormous. They were like 20 feet tall or something. They were ridiculously huge for something that actually walked the face of the earth. And once you get that mental image in your head, it doesn't go away.
Now, I have a question real quick. How the Earth is only 7,000 years old, Gary. So where are you getting... I'm kidding.
This is an American thing, isn't it?
But no, I'm glad the idea stuck around in your head, because it is a fun book and it's a really fun read, and Mitch, your art is it's fun as well. Even the action bits, like even when it gets a little nervous when you're like, oh, like who's gonna make it, or are these people gonna be okay, or like what's gonna happen. I also really like how you guys both generate a lot of emotional appeal for Kongutan. Like you do it very seamlessly and organically and effortlessly, it seems, but like that was just kind of smart scripting and smart like layouts and drawing from you, Mitch, like, because I mean, animals can show emotion, but like there's a scene on the beach with a couple kids and that kind of like steals your heart, and you're like, okay, I like this fucking guy, right? And was that like a hard moment to draw? Like, like especially when you come from like what you guys did before, which was very like very very human story, very human and philosophical, and easy to draw other things that emote, right? That aren't like that. But anyways, you know what I'm saying? Like, was that difficult for you?
Yeah. I mean, I take a lot of reference from, I guess, you look at Disney movies and their animals and they can emote and you kind of get a sense of what to follow. But it's also a primate, so it will have some human features that you can exemplify, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was just a blast to draw that book. It was a good one to do.
I felt like you guys, you can kind of feel your guys' chemistry in it, and just feel that you're both were having a good old time, like making this. It just feels like, you know, the art and the story, everything feels very alive. It's very bright, you know, even the color palette and stuff too. Like it's a bright, inviting, invigorating story. Even with the, you know, the little bit of the violence and the you know, brief moments of brutality, right? But it's still it's just different. It's different than like a giant monster book, which again is why, like, why aren't you people backing this book? I have to call you all out, because it's fresh and it's new and it's fun and it's different. It's not like what you guys are getting on the shelves, right? And like, we know there's a market for kaiju books. Like Godzilla has been around forever, and those comics still sell, like at IDW. And so I really encourage you guys to check out this campaign. And like, we'll bring up the campaign page shortly, but I mean, on all in the YouTube descriptions, and like if you follow us on social media, like everybody's got the link out there. It's real easy for you to find. And like I said, it's in the description for people watching it on YouTube now or later. And I just really encourage you guys to check it out, because it's a cool book, and it's made by cool creators. And I've been a fan of Gary for a long time now. Like Gary just doesn't know how to write bad comics. And so you guys just need to get out there and check this out. And it's almost funded. Like if a couple more people back it, it's going to be funded. But then, you know, then you start thinking about stretch goals. You start thinking about other stuff too. So I just, you know, check out the campaign. Just quit being fucking cowards and go check out the campaign. It's gonna be fine, guys. I promise it'll be painless. No. Let's see if calling my audience names helps, is if that's the new marketing tactic I need to implement in my new
that's very much an Australian thing, right? That's why you're popular here.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys actually get that tourism campaign we had where it was basically swearing at people?
No, I don't remember that.
It was not the throw another shrimp on the Barbie one. It was after that. It was nowhere near as successful. But they basically said something like, "Where the bloody hell are you?" to like the world, which, you know, fits Australia, but is a bad idea. Maybe don't swear at your audience.
Yeah, they like it. I always tell the story about when this wouldn't play out now, right? But like, had you guys ever watched Deadwood, the Western that was on HBO a while back? So like the bartender, Al Swearingen, you know, he called everybody cocksucker all the time. Like, I mean, if you took a shot every time they said cocksucker in that show, you'd probably be dead, right? You would not last through the rewatch. And my dad was a bartender at that time. And so, I mean, he would, and this is back, you can still smoke in bars like here when he was smoking. So like my dad, there'd be like, well, there's ashtrays all over the bars for people like at the bar, but my dad would have like a cigarette burning at each end of the bar and in the middle, so that like when he was like going back and forth and serving drinks, like there would always be one of his cigarettes going that he could like, it was crazy. And but my dad was obsessed with Deadwood, and he would call people cocksucker all the time, and like people laughed and threw money at him for it. Like at first they'd be like, "Excuse me," and then like after that they'd be like, "This fucking little old guy's amazing." Like and it was just like there were times like, because when I turned 21 was when he was bartending, which was just like a match made in hell. It was amazing. But like when you're a fresh 21-year-old and your dad's a night manager at a bar, like a bar down the street, and the owner won't let you pay and likes the younger kids, like, you know, I would bring in some friends and you know, and some younger women and stuff, and like the bar liked that, right? And so like, but it was just like we hung out there all the time, and no one ever charged us any money, and it was just like it was amazing. But you know, there was a lot of rough nights too because of that. But anyways, yeah, right. And then that was even before I was like worked in the service industry for almost a decade. But yeah, anyway, but yeah, so that notion of like you know, cursing at your audience is, I guess it's just biological. I'm very much my father's son. Even when I try to not, I mean, I love my dad and we have a pretty good relationship, but there's a lot of things where I'm like, Dad, no, like, dude, fucking figure it out, man. And he's older now, and it's like some stuff is harder for him to figure out, and I'm just like, it aggravates me, and so, but it's funny in those moments where you're like, you try not to be your family, but then you can't. It's in your fucking blood, right? You can't get rid of it. Anyways, that's what we're here to talk about is my dad and his crazy bartending days. I'm just kidding. We're here to talk about this amazing kaiju comic. I'm calling it a kaiju comic because I think it makes it easier to sell. But it's but I like how Gary fucking nerded out and did like research and shit. Like you like turned into a paleontologist. You're like, let's check out some fossils and let's go on some digs. I don't know if you really did that or not. It'd be cool if you did.
It would have been good if you did.
Yeah, get down a very deep rabbit hole of research, and almost all of it was entirely useless. But that's not the point. Like it was fun. I learned stuff.
Nice.
And hopefully, like if you put the comic in the hand of a kid, they'll go off and research the same things. I mean, like half the things I know in my life I learned from comics.
I like that. I like that a lot. That's cool. I still have to look up words every now and then. Like I'll stumble across I've never had the best vocabulary, which is weird as a writer, right? But like I've always felt like a lot of other people had better vocabularies than I did, and I still stumble across words every now and then reading, and I'm like, holy shit. And it's like, that's why it aggravates me so much when people are like, comics not real literature. No, it's not pop culture. No, it's not real book, man. It's not really reading, and it's just like, it is. You can learn stuff, and it's very cultural and based in culture. And look at like manga, like over in Japan, and it's like how ingrained in culture it is over there. And it's like, people almost read more manga than prose, right? And it's like it's so huge, and I wish we could like steal that. I thought we were going there for a while, right? With all the superhero movies and the big Hollywood endeavors, and everybody was obsessed with it, and Disney made billions and billions and billions of dollars, but it's still never. I mean, there's so many people that watch those movies that never pick up a book, and it's a bummer, anyways. But I like that. I like that notion that this is where it came from. Like you learned a lot from comics, and you kind of want to sprinkle that knowledge into your audience, into new readers. And it is a kid-friendly book. So those of you out there, if you've got tiny little offspring running around ruining your lives, you could buy this book and read it with them and enjoy it together and have like an experience and show your kids like the right way to be, right? To reading is fun, reading is cool, it's not lame. And I think that's a mentality that this culture's losing. Is less and less people read. It bums me out. That was one of the worst things about like being single and going on dates and shit. And it was like, people, what do you do? I was like, oh, I read all the time and I have a podcast. And then of course they're like, oh, podcast, that's in it, like true crime, like murder, like, and I'm like, oh no, I talked to comic book creators about their new books. And they're, oh, comic books, huh? They still make those? Yeah, they do. They sure do. Like, is it we haven't even got the appetizer yet, but we're gonna check.
My favorite one of those is when you're at a convention and you've got a table full of comics in front of you, and people go, "Comics Day, they still make those, do they?" No, they don't. These are just,
That's funny. I did find out recently that a lot of people go to those cons to like meet the actors. Like there's like a huge portion of the audience that just go for like the Hollywood row, right? And not like the art sales and the toys, or it's kind of like a separate entity. So it's just crazy. But you got to know. I feel like people know they're just dicks. I feel like that's like a purpose. It's just like. It's like a dig, right? They know what they're doing, right? Like when people are like, oh, I'm gonna pray for you, and they say it with like a tone, and it's like, don't fucking pray for me, pray for yourself. Like, anyway, Mitch. Back to the book, Mitch. When Gary hit you up to work on this, because it was different than like some of the stuff you've done before, were you kind of jostled with the premise, with the idea, or were you kind of like, were you excited? Were you like, okay, yeah, big monsters, let's get crazy? Like, how'd you take the pitch?
Yeah, Gaz and Wolf, the editor, they pitched it to me as more of an action book, because I hadn't worked on an action book with Gary before, so I thought
Okay.
this would be a good opportunity to spread my wings and try out a new kind of genre. So yeah, it was a good test into the waters.
Nice.
Of,
You
action.
had fun. Like you
Yeah,
mentioned.
loved it. Can't wait to do the next action book.
Yeah. I feel I want to get to I'll get to that, but real quick, let's pull up the Kickstarter page because we've I just want to show off some of your art.
Thank you.
So we got 8 days to go. Wouldn't it be cool to get to like 50 backers by next week sometime? I think that would be cool. That's a reasonable goal that we can shoot for and strive for, and continue from, right? But I really, y'all need to check out this book. It's so good. Like, and we're gonna scroll down and check out some of the art. I love the pitch, which Gary kind of did initially, was that they can touch our heartstrings. Actually, here let me do my movie trailer voice. Let's do it the right way. Comics can have a deep emotional resonance. They can touch our heartstrings and make us think about our neighborhood, our society, and indeed the entire world. They can make us reconsider our place amongst it all. This is not that comic, because sometimes comics can just be fun. And what isn't fun about a giant ape battling an enormous cephalopod in some variant Australia with the fate of an entire community hanging in the balance? Kongutan is a 60-foot tall ape base broadly. Oh my God, these are giant words. Kongutan is a 60-foot tall ape based broadly on Gigantopithecus, an extinct ape from East and Southeast Asia who lived approximately 250,000 years ago, though this one is still very much alive. We coined the name Kongutan as Gigantopithecus versus Kraken. Didn't quite have the same ring to it. Alliteration is always awesome. Like, this book is very, very awesome. And I think I said that I said it wrong. Gigantopithecus. Yeah, I said it wrong. It's fine. No, I'm sure no one caught that till I just called myself out. But anyway, it's a fun premise. It's a fun comic, and let's just check out this art. I think Mitch's art is a great selling point too. Again, I love these colors. The colors are everything is just so bright and inviting, and when you open these pages, they scream at you, like in a nice and a polite, fun way, not a mean way, right? But it's just like it keeps you turning the pages. It wants you, it like invites you to just like bury yourself in the narrative, I just love the art, and I love the faces Kongutan makes. Like, the way you emote him is very great. But yeah, we see that this is that kind of stressful human interaction that the book starts with, and then this like, is he okay? I don't know. Like, and then of course he's got to be okay, or the book would end 5 pages into it, which would make no sense.
Twist.
Right? It's just like 20 pages of ads after.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing about this book is, like, I think it's 17 of the 22 pages have no dialogue.
Yeah, it's quiet.
Like, Mitch is doing all the work in this book.
Yeah.
So the first book of Mitch's that I ever read was one called Skyscraper that he did with Ryan K. Lindsay, which was sort of an experimental comic. It was like a broadsheet newspaper size, and every single page was the same view of a skyscraper. Some like rooms of the skyscraper you can see into, but it jumps around in time. But the actual like framing of every single page is exactly the same, which is about the hardest thing for an artist to ever have to do.
Yeah, that sounds tricky.
The whole book was just crystal clear, and as soon as I read that, I knew that Mitch could do anything.
Nice.
Like, any story that you wanted to tell, he can do. Because if you can make that one work, it's a very cool story, but it is experimental, and it's just hard for an artist to do. But he pulled it off flawlessly. So that was, I think that's when we gave you a Talgard, isn't it, Mitch?
Yes, Talgard, tome 1.
Nice.
Yep.
Mitch
is one of the artists in that.
Yep.
And Gary knows I fucking love Talgard. I will scream about that from the mountaintops. Like, when Gary sent me that, like when I got to read it, I was like, I was like, oh my God. It was just like all those little shorts. And even especially now, like that I've gotten into an anthology and I wrote a 2-page comic and I now know just how painstakingly hard that is. And Gary just fucking just drops them out like they're just no big deal. And like these like little shorts that like have like big meaning and big moments. And I'm just like, I kind of hate him. I don't hate him, like, but I kind of hate him. No, it's
Thank
so
you.
good. You're welcome. But Mitch, I didn't realize you got to work with Ryan Lindsay. That's dope. I love him. He's a talented guy. Even he's also a hypocrite though. I was reading his new newsletter and he was talking about how this is so funny because it was just so timely. He was talking about how promoting comics when he's trying to stay off social media is like tricky, even though he's got like a pretty good newsletter following and a good like open rate and stuff like that. And I mean, like, as soon as I get done reading his newsletter, I get a Blue Sky notification and it's fucking Ryan friended me. And I was like, what? I was like, get out of here, dude. I almost denied it. I was like, no, you liar. No, he's I'm gonna have to check. What's the title of that book called again?
Skyscraper.
I'm gonna have to try and hunt that down. Because I love your art, and like I said, I'm a big, other than like the shit talking I just did, I'm a big Ryan K. Lindsay fan.
Yeah, definitely check it out. That's a good book. That was a murder mystery one that we did. Yeah, and it's old newspaper format for 28 pages, I think that one was. And you get to unravel the mystery through time about the building and its mysterious machinations.
Was that from a publisher or did you guys crowdfund it?
We crowdfunded that one on Kickstarter. We made our goal and then some, and yeah, that was a good book, that one.
Nice. So cool. That means it's gonna be fucking impossible to find. Awesome.
I might have a spare that I can send
Hit me up, I'll send a copy.
Oh yeah, good. See, that's I like
copies.
I love I'm at that point now where people just send me shit. It's amazing. But I had one of my buddies when I first started this, like one of my buddies asked me, because I got really lucky on getting on press lists like early in my podcast career. And like Image, I got on Image's press list, and a lot of bigger podcast people they were like, how the hell did you get on Image's press list? I was like, I write a good fucking email, basically. But like I was telling my buddy, I was like, dude, I'm on like, I got on Image Comics' press, and he was like, oh, they like send you comics. I was like, well, they send you a PDF every week, you know. And he was like, oh, that's cool. But he was like, man, like you'll know you made it when you start getting like real stuff in the mail. And I was like, and then I was like, yeah, okay. I was like, they don't really do that though. But like now I get like Humanoid sends me stuff sometimes. Gary sends me shit it's like people just like send me stuff, and it's like I get all these like comics in the mail now too, and in my inbox, and it's like holy shit. I mean, I was like, I told my buddy, I text him like every time I get something in the mail. I was like, hey, I made it, and he's like, okay, this was funny like 100 picture messages ago, dude. You don't have to send me a picture every package. But yeah, we got people in the chat. We got Sarah Landauer's in. What's up, Sarah? Sarah was on the show earlier this week. Story without dialogue is tricky. It's you gotta really hone in to control the pace, I think too. And like you gotta really kind of like Mitch has to really manipulate people to slow down and hang out in these moments, and you have to use different techniques to do that, which I guess that's actually a pretty good question. I'm patting myself on the back. Mitch, how the fuck do you do that? That seems like something really tricky.
Pretty much just as you said. Yeah. I mean, like you have to really, I guess you pull out every trick in the book in comics to try and get an audience to stay where they are. I mean, just that simple image of him just lying on the beach calmly with the bird. I mean, you can kind of take all that in just on its own there. Like you pause there to just, I guess, relax with him. And then that last shot as well, you hang on the hand.
Yeah. I was thinking that too, because you see it like in your mind, you like see this, and you don't even see the character, but in your mind, you see them like reach out gently, right? And it's like a slow motion, and you see like softly touch this wound, right? Because you're not just going to be like, and it's a soft, calm motion, and it really controls the pace of the book, which is that's just cool. Like you fucking artists really fascinate me. It's crazy the shit you guys can pull off. But yeah, it's very cool what you guys do, how you control the pacing and the page turning, and a lot of this without dialogue. And then
Make
when
no
once it ramps
mistake,
up in the
if
end.
you
too.
like this book, that's all on Mitch. Mitch has done an amazing job on this. And,
Nice.
if you don't like the book, that's on me. But if you like it, it's all.
Yep, it's all on Gaz. He
Nice.
said it.
Nice. Well, I think you both did a hell of a job. Like I said, like Gary sent me a physical copy of it, and it was very cool. Like I just like I said, opening it up and getting to read it, and just like experiencing it physically was a nice experience. And so you guys that back this are in like they're printing it nicely, it's bound nicely, it's a nice comic book, the pages feel nice, like you're in for a good reading experience, both like tactile and the other part. What is like not tactile, like the part in your brain, I don't know, like, but it's like it feels good and it reads good is what I'm trying to say here. But and then some awesome variants. I love the giant nipples. Like, just give me giant nipples all day. I'm here for it.
That one's Dean Rankin, who's like
Dean, king of the nipples too. Like,
yeah.
And then this one's a little bit more like a little more photorealistic. A lot of attitude in this cover too. I love the vibe of this cover, and that's what Jake Bartok. And then you got like the sketch cover if you want some doodles on it. And so this interests me, this megafauna. And this is like, and it says that in the comic, like this is the first part of the megafauna. What is the megafauna, guys? Like, is this, what's going on here? Or can you even, or you're like, Blake, no, can't talk.
Do you want to do that, Mitch, or shall
I? You go for it. You've got the good pitch. You're a good pitcher.
Okay. Well, basically the idea is that it'll just be an ongoing, kind of like the reverse of Talgard, where everyone written by me but different artists.
Okay.
For Megafauna, everyone will be drawn by Mitch, and different writers will come in and just do one kaiju story, one
cool.
Megafauna story, 22 pages. Basically, yeah, we're going to use the first one to fund the second one, and the second one to fund the third one. So if you want to see more of it, buy more of it. Yeah, I think we've got a script lined up from Dean Rankin for the second one, which I've read and is great. So I want to see it. So please back this book so that I can see it.
And it's going to be different monsters for like every, or are you going to is it going to stick with Kongutan in a different battle? Or nice.
Different monsters, whatever anyone wants to write about, they can. So it'll be an ongoing series, but with a very loose theme. Nice.
Now, did you know that that's what you wanted to do when you started creating this? Like, did you know you wanted to expand on it and let the let the reign go and let other people take it?
What happened was, anyone that I sort of told this book to in the comics sort of world down here was like, oh, that sounds so great. I want to do a story with, like, everybody wanted to do one. So then, the idea sticks in the back of your head, and
okay.
Mitch does such a great job. So like it's almost like the idea is to hopefully have a Mitch showcase.
Nice. Mitch, what's your thoughts about that? I was about to say, do you like working with other people?
I hate working with Gary. Gary.
Anybody else, please. When you work with a writer frequently, like, you get used to how they script and working together and stuff. And if you have like kind of a rotating, line of talent, you're gonna lose that. I mean, you may know some of them, but you may lose some of that chemistry. And I don't want to say like the book will lose its magic, but it just might, like, as an artist, you may have to like reorient yourself on like different styles, different vibes, different creators. Are you pretty like adaptable as an artist? Are you like, dude, I fucking do that in a minute?
I guess, yeah. I guess pride myself on my adaptability, because you've got to be. I mean, you've got to really be the cream of the crop with every bit of artistic illustrative background you can do, because I do animation, I do storyboards, comics, technical drawings. Like, I pretty much have to be across everything to stay afloat as you do, because I mean, you got to always get to the next job. And That's what it is.
I hear you there, man. It's this freelance shit is so weird, and I'm always for a while I was scared to tell people no, because I was like the same way like when I first started podcasting, when people were like, oh, like have me on your show, and I was like if I say no, they'll quit asking, right? And I quickly found out that like no, people will always ask. Like, and but like, you know, with the freelance and the PR stuff, like I have a cool job with like Metal Ninja Studios, and I work with Invader, and I'm doing like I do like some marketing stuff, and I now like for Metal Ninja I'm doing all sorts of weird shit. Like I'm like somehow unofficially second in command, and I basically just tell our designer what to do all the time, and I think eventually he's gonna pop and try and murder me, because it's like it's like not my fault, like I'm doing what the clients ask, you know, but it's just like I'm just like, oh yeah, and then it's like in Discord all day I'm like, oh, then they want this and they want this, and then they're like, oh, this is confirmed, it's done, and he's like, oh sweet, and then 10 minutes later they're like, oh, I forgot, you need to change this, and I'm like, I'm sorry, like they just asked for this. And so like that's like what I do all day now, and it stresses me the fuck out, and I'm not even like I'm not the one like having to do like I like get the assets and everything for him, and like get everything ready, and I'm like, you know, talking to the clients and stuff, and like so, but like, it's still like he's the one like doing the designing and the creating and like making the logos and stuff, and I'm just like, and he's a fucking stud. He's just we're so lucky to have him. But yeah, anyways, like I do that now, but I do like side PR gigs, like, and finally, like just recently I had to tell a couple people no, because I was like, I'd love to take your money, but like I'm busy, you know, like I don't want to like take people's money and not be able to give them what they pay for, you know, and so like I kind of had to do, but yeah, anyways, like freelance is just fucking, it's so weird. I'm still not used to it.
Yeah, it's a hard
you need to set two rates there, Blake. You need to have the yes, I want to work with you rate, and here's an obscene amount of money that if you're willing to pay me, I'll do it anyway.
Yeah, it's good for me. But yeah.
Gary did tell me that. Gary was like, I don't think you charge enough, and I was like, Gary, I've been doing this for like 6 months. Like I'm still fairly like new to all this, and Gary's like, I don't know. And then like, because Gary and I talked like a few months ago, like was when he kind of like, he was like, hey, it's coming, and I want you to, you know, work with us. And I was like, okay. And then and Gary was like, well, that doesn't sound like enough money. And I was like, no, it's fine, Gary. I was like, that's what it'll work out. And Gary kept being like, well, if something changes like in the next couple months, and you tell me if you need more money. And I, you know, part of me is just like, milk this motherfucker dry. And I'm like, it's like, get him for all he's worth. But no, I just, and like I told Gary, like I think eventually, you know, once I keep doing this stuff and get more press contacts and get more into the scene, and yeah, I'll be able to charge more. But I think what I charge now for like what I do is fair. But like it's like this whole the making comic side, the production stuff I'm doing now, which is amazing, that I just kind of stumbled into, right? It's just it takes up a lot of time during the day. And so I'm having to like balance shit, you know, like when I used to just wake up whenever and make promo in the morning, and you know, like I was like making promo and making tweets, and I was like, life is so easy and grand, and I was like, I'm not working a day, like it doesn't feel like it. And now I'm fucking in it, and it's cool and it's exciting, and like I'm getting to see like how the donuts are made and stuff, right? But it's just it's getting to be a lot, and like I said, it would break my heart if like a client ever. Because people are starting to refer me. People are starting to be like, "Oh yeah, like hit up Blake, he's awesome," and and that means so much. And it would break my heart if someone was like, "Yeah, like everybody told me to hire Blake, and I did, and I don't know what I fucking paid for." You know, like that would suck. I don't want people to say that. So I'm trying to figure everything out and not like have a stress heart attack before I turn 40, right? Which is like that's the goal, right? Just make it to 40. Give me 2 more years, baby. That's because I turned 38 on the 27th, so I'm getting close. I'm getting close to being an old fucking bastard, and an old bastard, and living a young man. Like I feel like I'm the oldest like social media manager around, right? I feel like that's like a young person job, and I'm the fucking like almost 40-year-old guy. Like metrics, blog posts, like views, subs, nah. And it's like, I know what I'm talking about, but it's like everybody else is like, I'm a social media manager. I'm actually still in college. I'm 18. Like, oh, fuck you. Okay, that's awesome.
I think I'd rather be dealing with a 40-year-old than an 18-year-old for what it's worth.
See, that's why I like you, Gary. That's why I like Gary. Just agrees with me all the time, and you can't ask for more from a
well, I very politely ignored that the Earth is 6,000 years old, so I'm not sure.
Well, that's a lie, Gary. I was raised Catholic, but I didn't stay Catholic. It was the guilt. The guilt stays forever, though. You can't.
Oh yeah.
You can't get rid of that. Sarah, thank you so much. You're so nice, Sarah. I appreciate that. But yeah. Anyways, freelance, right? It's weird. Do you have a day job, Gary? Or are you a full-time writer?
I'm a stay-at-home dad and a writer. So
nice.
Both.
Nice. That's the dream, man. It's just the stay-at-home part, though. Really, not the dad. give or take that part, but yeah. The stay-at-home part's the part. I just like it because I like when like COVID happened and my work made us work from home. Like I got spoiled, right? Like there was a few days where I didn't put fucking pants on. I just rolled out of bed. You know, when I used to have like a big beard like Gary's, you know, like sometimes you got to tame that beast, right? Because you wake up and like half of it's like slobbered on and sticking out this way, and the other half's like straight. And you know, you had to like do that. I'm fucking bald, but I'm having to like do my beard every day. It's like some days I'd wake up and there's fucking like bees and wasps in my hair, and I'm not wearing pants, and I'm just clocking in for work. Like, let's go, party, cigarette hanging out of my mouth. Like, yeah. And it's like, and I was like, man, I never want to go back to the office ever. And it was cool because it's just like you get stressed, you take a break, you go inside, you hug the dogs, you know, like. You know, you're in your comfy spot. You can actually make something for lunch, make something for breakfast. It was very, very nice. And I quickly knew, I was like, okay, this was very much for me. And then, and yeah, now it's like when I quit that devilish job and, you know, for a while, and I was like, I can't go back to like work for like at a building. And I was like, that sounds terrible. You know, I was like, it's so weird. I can't go to work, right? I'll work, but I won't go there. And it was just like, so yeah, I just love, that's what I like about a lot of this is, well, A, I work in comics, and B, like it's in my safe space, right? It's but that makes it bad too. And I'm sure you can both relate to this, especially you, Mitch, like, cause I hear this is a problem with artists too, is it's like, sometimes you put a little too much time in, right? And it's like you're in the office all the time, and you sometimes you don't get as many moments to like walk away and go, you know, like especially like if you're stuck on a page, or you're like maybe you're in the zone and you want to keep going or something, you know. And it's just like you're like, well, I'm here, and then you're like, wow, I put in a lot of extra time that like no one's paying me for, right? Like Gary's not fucking giving me an overtime check, right?
I've done that plenty of times, but I've had to learn to, yes, if I'm stuck on something, walk away and come back half an hour later, because it drains you.
Yeah. What do you do? Like if you get hung up on something, like what do you like? What do you walk away and do? Like, are you a video game guy? Do you go for a walk? Are you dogs? Like what distracts you?
Yeah, a bit of everything. Yeah, video game, or I'll go downstairs, walk the dog, come back, have lunch or something, and then I'll be like, oh, I'll go back to that and try and fix it, or I'll do whatever I've got to do to it, and then yeah, if I get stuck again, I'll find another excuse to go downstairs and do something else and get out of the house, because I just couldn't do it. Yeah.
What about you, Gary? Like, what if you get hung up on a script or a project or something? Like, what do you do to distract and reboot?
I've always got like a couple of things on the go at any one time, so you can swap back and forth from project to project. That helps a lot. That's something that a writer can do a bit more than an artist can, though. Like, just generally across the board, writers have got it easier than artists in comics. Like, I mean, I go and write at a cafe like once or twice a week with a friend, and I don't think an artist can really do that. They can't drag their whole artboard down to a local cafe and work in there.
Is that friend a high profile comic book writer?
Yeah. It's Tom Taylor. Yes.
Fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. Yeah. Where's Buds? Where's hang out? I text him right now.
It's
He texts me right now. He texts me right back. It's cool. No,
I mean,
how'd you meet him? How did that friendship?
So I started at the publisher of Kongutan versus Kraken is Gestalt Publishing, and I started there as an intern. And actually, on my very first day as an intern, the editor-in-chief and the editor of this book, Wolfgang, gave me 2 scripts and said, "I'd like you to, tell me what these are, rate these, break them down for me to see whether I was any good." And one of them wasn't great. It was, slush pile sort of.
That was Tom's.
But the other one, the other one he was testing me with, it was Tom's, but this was before Tom was published.
Okay.
It was The Deep, which is
that's now a show and stuff. Yeah, toy line and everything.
So my first day as an intern, I was given a slush pile.
Wow,
not particularly great, and the script for The Deep, and I sort of went, "Oh, this one's got a few problems here, and here. This one's really good. I know this is stupid for me to say on my first day as an intern, but I think you should publish this one." And he went, "Yeah, we're about 40 pages into art already. It's fine."
Nice.
Yeah, so that's my first encounter, I guess, with Tom, and
cool.
We work together. I'm one of the assistant editors on The Deep book.
Okay. See, I initially thought Gestalt Publishing was you. Like I thought, because like a lot of indie guys like have their own kind of press, especially when they go to crowdfunding and stuff, and they make like a cool little press name to like put on the comics and stuff. And so like for a while, I thought that was you, and then I realized there's a lot of other books involved there that like you're not writing, right? And so I was like. I thought you were hot shit for a while, Gary, and then no, I'm just kidding. I think you're a glorious bastard. But that's cool. That's cool that you're you obviously like them. They obviously like treat you well. You're still there, still publishing with them, still seem to be happy. So that's cool.
Absolutely. Gestalt's great.
Mitch, have you done a lot of other than? I know you've done a couple books with them, but like, have you done other projects with them or?
So I've done, I think my major ones have all been Gestalt, and then, just crowdfunding ones mostly as other stuff. And then, small pitches here and there. So, Gestalt's great. They're the premier comic company in Australia. So
nice.
They're the one to go to. And to get into that was awesome.
Nice. That's cool. Now, do they do direct market too, or is it all crowdfunding?
Basically, distribution is really hard from Australia. Gestalt's had a few books that went in direct market, but that was like 2017, something like that.
Okay.
It didn't go super well, but it was through Diamond at the time, and basically a lot of it is just distance. Trying to ship books that far is expensive, and the economics of it didn't work out. But ticking along.
No, look at Boom, AWA's redoing Fight Girls right now. Chose Fight Girls. They're doing a hardcover through Kickstarter. So a lot of these big publishers are coming out on Kickstarter doing stuff. Like Vault did some fancy hardcovers. And Vault's Steve Orlando's new book was on Kickstarter, which I thought was just crazy. And Steve wouldn't even promote it. He was like Steve. I feel like Steve. He was proud of it and excited about it, but I felt like I think Steve felt weird because of his name status and being in the indie realm of Kickstarter. I think that made Steve kind of feel weird, and so he was because I would always try and get Steve to comment on the Kickstarter threads and stuff. I was like Steve, drop the book here, and he was like, no. He's I even retweet it, but he wouldn't go in and I get it, right? It's but it's anyway.
Some people get really upset when publishers are in Kickstarter.
I know, and I don't get it. It's
only going to make the pie bigger. They're not comics is not a zero-sum game.
Exactly.
If a publisher is legitimizing selling books through Kickstarter, I don't see why indie creators aren't over the moon about that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. It's but there is some vitriol, right? There's people are they do get. I remember people still talk shit about Matt Kent and Keanu Reeves and what was it? I almost said Violator, but that's Spawn, Berserker. But like they still like they get like. I got in a Twitter fight with people one day because they were like, "That's not indie. Boom's not indie," and it's just like, okay, whatever, you know. But it's like, it's like the what is and what isn't indie now, and what can and can go to Kickstarter. And it's funny because so many of us like will step up and fight the good fight, right? And say like, there's no place in comics for gatekeeping. And then what do you fucking do? You stand there and you're like, only these people can go to Kickstarter. Only these people are indie creators. And it's like, do you realize what you're doing? Right. I don't think people realize. I mean, also we're humans and we all love to be hypocrites, even when we say we don't. It's like part of what makes life great. But Sarah's chat. And I agree. Petting cats and dogs. I love animals. My sister has cats now. I've never had cats, but I like my sister's cats a lot. And like they're very interesting little creatures. You never know what they're gonna do. She's got this black cat named Gary, and sometimes he's like perched on top of a door like a fucking owl, and it's just like you never know. And he makes like weird chirping bird sounds sometimes. Like cats are fucking awesome. And then she says, Sarah says, I've seen some people get very upset about the published, like who's got the right to go to Kickstarter. I think it's a good thing though. It'll get more people knowing about Kickstarter. They might find some exactly. And Boom has been very good about the communal aspect of Kickstarter. Like when Boom went to Kickstarter, they were backing other projects and like sharing them and doing them in like Kickstarter updates and like doing it like you're supposed to do on Kickstarter. Like Boom has been very, very good about that. And so yeah, like if Andy Diggle wants to come on and they want to do an Expanse book and make $1.2 million, like let's do it. Let's party, right? And that gets all those people that went and backed those books. They all get emails from Kickstarter saying, oh, if you backed this, you might like this. And when they log onto the Kickstarter page, they're going to see the projects of the day and the projects we love. And so it's a good thing for everybody. Just I don't see it. I've long thought the same thing, right? If Keanu Reeves wants to write a fucking comic, let Neo write the goddamn comic, right? And if Neo wants to go to Kickstarter, let Neo go to Kickstarter. Like he's the one. Let him do whatever he wants and save the world and save indie comic. Anyways, but that's just what I think. And who cares what I think? I just have a show that people tune in to watch.
Everybody watching it.
But yeah, it's I love Kickstarter. I love the community. I love the stuff you can find, right? It's just there's a book out there for everybody. There's a book out there for that you can find and see yourself in, like, and you can be represented in a way that like maybe you can't find in a comic book shop, right? There's something for everybody. Unfortunately now, because of like the rough terrain of indie comics, because of some stuff that has happened and like monetary aspects and things, like everybody's going to Kickstarter. And I think that's one of the reasons why so many people right now are saying like Kickstarter's slow or Kickstarter's rough or it's hard right there. And it's like, cause there's so much there. And with social media changing and some of these bigger platforms really, really like evolving into something we didn't expect and everything's different now, it's harder to be seen. And so that's the new struggle now, right? Is how do we get seen? How do we stand out? And again, I'm going to call out all these people not backing Kongutan versus Kraken because like this thing is begging to be fucking seen. The art is begging to be seen. It's bright and beautiful and fun, and it's different. It's got heart and charm. Like that for days, it bleeds that heart and charm, right? It gets on your fingers when you're reading it and contaminates you in a good way. And like, so and I wish I knew what Gary's probably like, why am I paying you if you don't know what the answer is, Blake? But I'm paying you for the answers, man. But
I'm gonna this Halloween. I'm gonna hand this book out to kids.
Nice. That's dope.
You
know,
That's cool.
Like that's the kind of book it is. It's fun. It's it's not hurting anyone except maybe some giant monsters, but they're not really real. It's a fun book, and everybody should read it.
Yeah. I like that. I mentioned giving away comic books to Halloween kids one year, and my dad thought I was fucking crazy. He was like, who does what? No one's gonna come to the porch and want your comic books. And I was like, Dad, it's a thing. Like a lot of people, like when you have like a big collection and like, the idea of like, maybe I'll sell some of this stuff, but also like some of it's not going to sell, or some of it won't sell for a lot and you're going to lose money shipping. And so you're essentially like paying to get some of your space back, when you can see like behind me, like I'm just like, my room is just slowly, it's like the trash compactor in Star Wars, but books. And I get less and less space every day. But I was like, Dad, it's a thing. And he's like, that's fucking weird. Like no kid wants books for Halloween. And I was like, well, these are comic books though, man. And so I always love it when I hear people like, yeah, when I give comic books out for Halloween, I want to like go get my dad and be like, listen, your son's not fucking weird and he's smart and he knows what he's saying, Dad. Like he doesn't watch this show, so it's fine. He doesn't watch it because he can't figure out how to do that on the computer. The other day I showed him, he was like looking for something on Facebook, and I was like, Dad, just go to their profile. And he was like, what are these words you're saying to me right now? And I was like, look, dude, it's like our buddy Joe, they like our friends are hunters, and so like they posted a picture of this big buck they got, and I like went to Joe's profile, and I was like, look, you go to his profile and all his stuff's right there. And he was like, what? And I was like, how do you use Facebook? And he basically just like scrolls on his feed, and he never thought to like click on someone's name or like go to a profile. And I was like, Dad, I was like, oh my God, man. I was like, come on. Anyway, but that's how. So like the other day he like mentioned, like, because he saw me like tweet or post about the shows and stuff, and he was like, I didn't know I could just click on it and it played. And I was like, yeah, Dad, that's the internet. It's the internet. You click on it and everybody a
cocksucker.
That's amazing. Also, you got some backers. Looks like Sarah backed it. Ronan backed it.
Thank you all
grew
so
up on
much.
Godzilla.
Yep.
Same. Like I still remember like my dad when I was real young, like taking me to Blockbuster and like watching the black and white Godzilla movies and just being like totally absorbed in that. And I also remember my buddy's dad when I went to see my first drive-in movie. My buddy's dad took us to a double feature, and it was Matthew Broderick's Godzilla and the Lost in Space remake with Matt LeBlanc. And we went and like saw that. And so like I got, as a kid, I thought that Godzilla remake was okay. It's like, it's a giant monster and shenanigans. Like, it's not like it's, what else do you want from a giant monster movie? Right. It's like, I know some are better than others, but they're kind of like goofy and fun. And, like
It had a
go
great
in.
soundtrack.
Yeah. Oh my God. An amazing soundtrack. Oh my, such a good soundtrack. But yeah, I still remember like seeing that, and I was like, whoa. And now with like the new Godzilla remakes, and now there's all these like Godzilla animes and stuff now, like on Netflix, and then like Pacific Rim and like all this, like I love, like, give me giant monsters, giant robots, like Gundam drama. Oh my God. Like I'm so into that shit. And that's why I was so excited to like get to like check out this book. Cause it was like, not only like do I just love Gary and like, but I get to like work on this campaign with him, and it's a giant monster book comic, right? And I was like, man, I made it. I was like, this is like, if you told Kid Blake that like you're gonna be 38 years old and part of your day job is gonna be trying to get people excited about a comic book where a giant ape fights a giant octopus or giant squid, I'd be like, fuck you, get out of here, right? Like, I was like, let me play Final Fantasy 7 and leave me alone, leave me alone, Ghost of Future Past or whatever. But so yeah, Ghost of Christmas Past. I mean, Christmas Future. Wow, I'm all over it today. But you know, it's just like I'm just very, very, very lucky in what I get to do. Don't take comics from strangers. You also got to be careful because those comics might be laced with marijuana or hallucinogenic drugs. You never know. You never know what's going to be on a comic when you take it from a stranger. Kaiju are never gonna. They're always going to be. It's always going to be a safe bet, which is weird. Like, why do you guys think why do you guys think kaiju have stood the test of time? Like these giant towering beasts, and us humans, we're cocky little shits, right? Like, why do you think we like to feel small? Because that's part of the mystery of it, right? These huge, monstrous, wonderful beasts that make us feel so tiny and insignificant. But it propels us into these stories and into these narratives. Why do you guys think this is such a hot genre still?
Do you want to take
The
that,
destruction of things.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay. I like
what
that.
came to mind there was like in Lilo and Stitch, where he builds the small San Francisco, he just destroys it. That was me as a kid, building things and just breaking them.
Nice.
I mean, there's something inherently, fun to just smash things. I mean, Power Rangers, I love the giant. They'd combine into a giant robot and just fight things and destroy the city. I mean, there's something fun about that everyone just can enjoy.
I never thought about because I remember the same thing, like building these big Lego sets, whether they were a set that you bought or something you built from your like imagination, right? And then you make this cool thing, and then you just completely annihilate it to start
just
again.
Drive a truck into it. Just destroy everything.
I like that destruction. All right, so Gary, what do you think? Like, what are you keen for destruction as well?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of levels it works on. One is that's it. Like, you know, you see a kid, they'll build something out of blocks and then they'll take a run up and dive into it and break it. We all love breaking things. I think also it's kind of like horror light in that it's scary, but not that scary.
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean? Like it's, I think it's like, you know, a gateway drug to horror.
Okay.
Sometimes because they're scary, but they're not horrific.
It's different. Yeah, it's like a natural disaster movie, kind of, right? Or you're like,
yeah, exactly.
Like a giant tidal wave or a giant tsunami or a meteor crashing into Earth, right? Like these are scary things, and like will ruin your life and ruin the planet, right? Ruin everything, but it's still not. It's horror adjacent, though. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly it. And I do wonder if there's something like deep in our collective unconscious that remembers hunting mammoths.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I that's probably way too sort of wanky for this. But I do wonder if there's some part of us that says, "Hey, if you kill that thing, you'll eat for a month." You know?
The lizard brain effect.
Yeah, like some deep lizard brain that says, "Think how many burgers that would be." Like,
nice. Yeah. Because my dog Bruce, my dog hunts bugs, right? But no one ever taught him this. But he goes outside, and he like sneaks around in the grass, and then he'll flop around and go crazy, and then he stops and he waits for like stuff to start hopping, like after he like rubbed all over the grass, and then he like gets these beetles and these grasshoppers and shit. And I'm like that's like in your predator brain, right? Like you were just kind of born with this knowledge. And so like why wouldn't we have some of that too, you know, like in this forgotten thing that we've evolved past, that, you know, like maybe we don't necessarily need it, but I mean, like, yeah, that hunter gatherer notion of like, you know, like I got this stick and I'm going to make the end of this stick sharp, or I'm going to fucking tie a rock to it and the rock is sharp and I'm going to use it to kill Godzilla, which doesn't make any sense, but we could try. But I mean, they did hunt those mammoths. They did, you know, and it's just like, or like the Native Americans with with like buffalo, and they would like chase the buffalo, and some of the buffalo would fall off the cliff, and then they would like go harvest the buffalo that like fell to their doom. And like, you know, there's ways to like kill these larger than life things to feed the community. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you can kind of trace when humans arrived anywhere on the planet by when megafauna disappeared.
Oh wow, that's
like,
great.
You know, when large animals started getting wiped out, that's when we were there. So yeah, I think there is something deep in our.
That's crazy. All right, so what fucking people were hopping into the ocean, fucking hunting the megalodon sharks though? Like that, I want to know the fucking like the god tier sushi story of like how these people went fishing for the Meg. I ever since I learned that those things are real, and then of course like the movies. I haven't watched Meg 2, but it looks ridiculous, and I'm excited for it. I may have to watch that when we wrap the show up. That may be a good, because I wanted to watch some horror movies, but I feel like Giant Monster Show followed with the Meg 2 might be where this night needs to take me. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if that theory's true, Gary, and I'm not denying you, and I believe it because I'm agreeing with you too. But like that means like people were hopping in the ocean, fucking hunting these giant like bigger than school bus size sharks. Like that's crazy.
I think they disappeared before humans.
Gary, let me have this, man. These giant sharks.
In 200,000 years ago, basically everyone was Samuel L. Jackson and Jason Statham, and they were all jumping in the ocean and kicking the shit out of sharks. That's what.
Tired of these giant motherfucking sharks on this giant motherfucking boat. And they didn't have planes, so we couldn't really say that. Sarah agrees that she says there's something nice about being reminded how small we are, but also giant monster fight. Nice TM on there. There's giant monster fights are always gonna be fun. It's the same thing. Like I listen to this metal band Slaughter to Prevail. They're from Russia, and the lead singer, he's got these tattoos everywhere, and he's fucking ripped, and he's a beast, and he growls he sounds like an alligator. Like when he screams, he's like, it's like the gnarliest sound. And there's a video of him, right? He wrestling a fucking bear, and he like paid money in Russia to like wrestle this bear, and he's like fucking around with this black bear that's very much bigger than he is, and it's standing up on its back two legs, you know, and it's just like I don't like monster fights that much, but there's that kind of notion, right, of like this like primal urge to be fucking dumb. I don't know. Like, you're not using that bear to feed your family, and you're not making a bear clothes with it, right? You're not making like a bear hood and a cloak. You're just like doing it for fucking TikTok. I don't like, but you know, there's something there too. Like the risk takers, and like just jumping out of an airplane, jumping off the side of a mountain, right? Like this, all of that kind of, it all kind of stems from some weird base part of our brain that we like come alive in fear, maybe.
Absolutely. And you know, comics is the safest possible way of being really fucking dumb.
Yeah. You're like, you're not going to get hurt. Well, Mitch might sprint and
I'll hurt my wrist.
Yeah.
You can get a brace though. You can slap a brace on that and keep working though. Like, like just ice it for 20 minutes and get back to work.
Yeah, get back to work.
Yeah. Comics is definitely a safe way to be adventurous. On the consumer aspect, it's not as safe because it costs you money. It actually costs you a lot of money to make comics too. I've found out recently too. There's just a lot of money that goes into every aspect of this industry. But yeah, other than your wallet, everything's pretty safe and chill when you're in the comic book world. Ish, maybe. You might stumble into a dark side of the internet, in a, you know, like, you know, the bad side, but it's mostly pretty safe. A lot of hot takes and angry nerds, but I think at the end of the day they're pretty useful. I'd rather fight an angry nerd than a fucking bear in Russia.
Giving me the choice.
That's just me.
Yeah, I'll take that.
So what do you guys like? Gary kind of talked about like some of his inspiration, like actual tracing evolutionary paths and going tracing things back to hundreds of thousands of years. But like we mentioned like Godzilla, Power Rangers, and stuff. Like what inspires you into this genre? What did you guys like watch any movies or read any other comic books or while you were making this to kind of like get you hyped or build up the inspiration, or was it Gary, was it mainly research, and Mitch, was it just Power Rangers? Like what did you guys get into?
Pacific Rim, it's always a good one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you read the comics?
No, I haven't caught those.
I want to check them out. They had a really cool Kickstarter a while ago that I was going to back and ran out of money. But they put out like a cool omnibus. The art's really cool. I don't know if the writing is. I don't know how the writing is. But anyway, and then they got that cool Netflix anime too. That's
yeah.
Nice.
I'll tell you what I did. I remember when I was like 12 years old, maybe. So there was a free-to-air station here in Australia called SBS, and they're sort of throughout the day they're primarily multicultural programming and stuff.
Okay.
And then late at night they throw on European movies, weird European movies.
They do.
A fairly good chance of some tits when you're watching an SBS movie.
Nice.
At 1 a.m, which when you're a 12-year-old, that's what you're doing.
That's what you live for. Yeah.
One time they threw up the 1920s King Kong.
Okay.
And I sat and watched the whole thing, and I was not disappointed that it wasn't tits. That's how good that movie was.
Nice.
With 12-year-old Gary. So when I went to write this, I sat down and rewatched the 1920s King Kong just to get that feel, that sort of I'm 12 and I'm loving this feel. It was brilliant. And then Pacific Rim.
Okay, first of all, I love you guys even more now because so many people talk shit about Pacific Rim and they're like, it's goofy and it's lame, and I was like, it is, but that's
that's the appeal,
charm. That's what makes it worth it, and it's so fucking pretty. Like watching it in 4K, like oh my god, like it's a good looking. Both the movies are good looking, and the new Netflix anime is absolutely gorgeous. They all just look great. The colors, like now with like HDR and all this shit now, like everything just looks so damn good all the time. But yeah,
I stand people who don't take a movie on its own like grounds. Like Pacific Rim was amazing at what it was trying to be. Like it was a terrible rom-com, but it wasn't trying to be a fucking rom-com. You know what I mean? Like people who look at movies and only want them to be like harrowing emotional journeys of people who are, broken and live in either New York or Seattle. That's it. Fuck that. Watch Pacific Rim and enjoy it as Pacific Rim.
Yeah. My buddy gives me shit all the time. Or not all the time, but he reminds me every now and then because he was like, "How do you review stuff?" He was like, "You like everything," and I was like, "Okay." I was like, "No," but he's like, "There are a lot of movies where like we watch," and he's like, "That was horse shit," and I was like, "But this part was fun, and I had fun with this part, and this part was just not. Part was just fun and pretty to watch, and like." But yeah, he's always like, "You're a fucking reviewer," and I'm like, "Well, like I don't if I don't like something, I don't review it, like I don't need that. I don't need to get rich off negativity. There's enough of that out there, which sucks because I feel like a lot of people, like if I wrote about comics I didn't like and just like ripped it a new asshole, basically, like I feel like people would like, it'd be the audience I don't want, but there's a big audience for that, right? So you'd get like the views and the metrics, and like, the YouTube channel would probably be bigger too if I talked a lot of shit all the time, right? Well, I mean, I talk a ton of shit if I talk to different kinds of shit.
I think that's a huge audience, but it's not a lasting one. They'll come.
They don't stay. They're not loyal.
And then they go.
Yeah.
You're better off building a community and
the slow but sure, the baby steps to greatness. kind of, yeah, I agree with you. And we got John Westoff in the house. What's up, John? Part-time Comics. By the way, both John and Sarah have cool campaigns going on right now that everybody should check out, including Gary and Mitch's campaign, which we've been talking about on and off, more on than off. It's been a healthy split of like random shit Blake talks about and the comic
from Sarah. That was great.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're good. They're good.
Yeah.
Also fun.
Back the first one a year ago.
No, yeah, I did. Yeah, it was. I remember, and they, like I said, they were on Monday. We had a great chat. Yeah, Sarah agrees. Like, you don't need those kind of views. I don't know if I'm a breath of fresh air. I'm a breath of something. We got Wine and Comics Pairing shows it. All right. I'll give you that, Dave. Wine and Comics Pairing show. You guys should all follow them. They're starting to interview more creatives, and they drink wine and they joke and laugh, and they're good. They're good comic. They're good comic people too. A fun channel to check out. I encourage you all to check it. I guess I do have a pretty good audience, right? Like, it's like people tune in and I have fun talking to them, and I never feel like dirty for referring people, right? Like, like it's not like, oh yeah, but I would buy this comic. You should too. I would never buy this comic. I'm lucky. I haven't like approached any. I haven't like taken the dirty money, right? Or I still get to retain my honesty, basically. So I don't know if that means anything anymore, because I don't even know if honesty means anything anymore. It's this fucking shit world we live in. I'm just kidding. Let's get dark. No. But that's all right. So you guys like Pacific Rim? That's cool. You're cool. You're cool in my book. And like I said, I'm a big, like, I love the giant robots. I love, like, Gundam's always been like a big deal with me, like Gundam. And I love like the war and the drama and the soap opera-ness of Gundam too. It's always great. I do wish sometimes Gundam had like giant aliens or giant monsters. Like I wish there was some weird Gundam spinoff where like, but I also like, would it even be Gundam anymore? Because then like, like I like to remember sometimes that human beings make the best monsters, which is heartbreaking, but also true. And like we're such a complex species, how like some of us can do like great, wonderful things. Some of us can do monstrous, horrible things. And some of us can never do a goddamn thing ever. Right. And it's just like, we're just a complex, weird ass species.
Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of that in this book, like you said at the beginning of this, where he has some bad interactions with people and some good interactions with people, and he just takes them on their merits as they come. I
love that too. I love that, like that heartfelt, the sign language, super strong. Like I said, there's that moment on the beach with the kids, which is really cool. And Mitch, you did such a good job, like bringing that to life on the page, like both the facial expressions, like on the kids, and how like it goes from like worrisome. Because could you imagine like staring a beast like that in the face and it turns around and screams at you, and you're like there with like you and your sister or you and your brother, and this fucking giant ape is just like, ah! And you're just like right there in its face, like, is it gonna fucking eat me, right? And it's just like to go from that to where it ends up. And that like that transition and that like kind of like juxtaposition in the moment, I thought it was just really, there's a lot of strong moments like this in a single issue. And again, like I just really encourage people to try this book out. I feel like you're gonna love it. And it's a book you can share with your friends, you can share with your kids, you can share with your nieces, nephews, or whatever. It's very much like anybody's comic. Right? Like anybody can read this, anybody can have fun with it, anybody can join on this adventure. And I'm very excited that there's going to be more coming, and like more like different stories, different creatures, different writers. Like that's super exciting. Like this kind of like world that you're trying to build, and the world won't get built unless you fucking cowards go back this book. Sorry, let me reel it in. Okay. But for real, it's a great comic, and I know you still got some time left, and I know you're both confident in it, and I am too. But
thank you.
I just, like I said, I really, I just thought like this shit would pop, man. And like once you see the pages, once you see the action, because you guys, you know, you've on the Kickstarter page and stuff, like you pick like good moments to share that like don't give too much of the story away, but like kind of you get oriented right enough to where like, okay, like, yeah, I want the book now, please. Like, let's go. And it's already like some of it's been printed and stuff already, and like it's done, it's ready to go. This isn't a book where like you're gonna back it and have to wait a really long time. Like these
I
guys
actually have some of the already.
Yeah, look.
Yeah,
Nice.
they sort of, a few of them exist, and you know, yeah, we'll just get them printed up properly and sent to everyone.
See, and that's
It's
and I know not everybody can do that on Kickstarter, but I mean, when you can come out and do that, when you can come to the dance ready to fucking dance, right? And it's like, it's crazy now. And I know paying for art is expensive and some people don't have it, but I mean, that's something you really need to think about now. Like if you only show like a few character sketches or something, and like, I remember a while back, like someone wanted to come on my show and wanted me to promote their Kickstarter. And they were like, well, we can like send you some script pages. And I was like, I mean, I can read the script, but like, I was, like, it's, my audience is important to me, and like, I will be damned. And Kickstarter's a little bit more expensive than going to a comic book store and buying comics, right? And so like, when I recommend a comic and when I tell people they should go back it, like, I believe that. I've seen the art, I've seen enough of the story, or I know the creators, right? Like I've had good experiences with them before. They've fulfilled previous campaigns before, stuff like that. And yeah, it's tough sometimes when someone's like, yeah, like, I'm not going to send you anything, but love to have you on the show and talk about it. And I'm like, that sounds terrifying to me. Thanks though. Like, like
that's a bit rough. Like, I mean, it's a visual medium. You got to have something to show.
Right. You have to have something. And then there's another new trend now where it's, you get like a couple sexy covers and no interior pages. And it's like, what are you people thinking? Right. Also, did you guys consider sexy Kongutan covers? Like a wraparound cover of him like just laying on the beach, spread eagle, just like,
what do you reckon?
Go. We should have done that one. That's a missed opportunity, it sounds like.
Yeah. Do you reckon you can draw a bikini on a giant squid?
Well, I reckon I could. I mean, that could be someone's commission if they want, if they get to the rewards. Yes.
Yeah. There's sketch cover commissions, so you can buy a sketch cover level and get a squid in a bikini. We're not here to yuck your yum.
Mitch is gonna get like so many weird fucking commission requests. He's gonna be like, he's like,
plenty now.
I'm never doing Blake's show again. Like,
I'm opening Pandora's box.
Well, I've heard like some artists have to say that now on their Kickstarters, or like when they're talking, because Kickstarter is a great place to get original art. It really is. Like even from like high, like top tier artists and stuff, like when like people, you can get commissions for like sometimes a couple $100 cheaper than you can at a con. And so it's a great place to get original art. But I've noticed more and more artists are like, yeah, we'll do commissions, but like safe for work. Like we're not drawing full penetration. We're not drawing tentacle porn. We're not. And I'm like, man, I was like who would I mean, like, I don't want to kink shame anybody either, right? But I just couldn't imagine. I'm not a prude, right? And I have a filthy mind and a filthy mouth, but I couldn't imagine just being like getting that commission tier and like typing into Kickstarter like Mitch, I want Kongutan to fuck this squid, man. And I want like tentacles in every hole of his body, nose, mouth, ears, ass, everywhere. Can you draw that for me?
Oh God, I'll be like, yeah, all right, I'll give it a shot for the right price.
Ronan says the ranking cover did get those big nibs.
Yeah,
that's funny. Sarah says she's sure there's an audience for sex. I'm sure there is somewhere. She says she's already excited about this book. Now she's even more hyped. Good. Good. I did my job. Oh, John's here with the guilt trip. John and my mom, they just guilt trip like nobody's business. I don't review a lot of books anymore. If you go to my Substack, it's mainly press releases now. It's very boring. I'm just kidding. My Substack is super exciting. Everybody should subscribe. blakesbuzz.com. Please, I need more subscribers. But yeah, and and it's free. It's free, by the way. But yeah, one day, John. I also tell everybody to get your books all the time. Prick. Oh my god, that fucking guy. I tell him to come on my show too, and then he does it because I cursed him one time because he came on my show and he didn't fund till the last day, and since then he's been like, I don't know if I can do your show anymore, man. Like you really hung up my campaign. And I'm like, cool, dude. Go tell the world, John. No, I'm just kidding. I love John. I love Part-Time Comics. They have a cool campaign right now. It's a 3-parter book. You get 3 cool books. You go to John's website or social medias. He's very good about sharing it. So another book I encourage people to check out. Another strong Kickstarter deal. And he has great track record with fulfillment and stuff too. He ships right. You get your stuff in nice mailers, shipped well. It comes to you safe. So he's a good back. He's a safe back. Anyways. I don't know, you guys. I know everybody loves it when I promote other people's comics when you guys are on my show. I always feel weird. That's how, Mitch. That's how the show used to be, though. The show used to be, I would have. So I basically started doing this because I used to only do a podcast, and then I was getting so many interview requests I couldn't keep up with it, and so I started doing these live streams, and I would have 6 people or so on the live stream. And everybody would get a few minutes to talk about their campaign. And I would also get shithoused. I would get hammered during these shows, man. Cause the first live stream I ever did, I got drunk and then I thought, and everybody said it was really funny and great and had a great time. And then since I was like, well, shit, every time I was like, when I do a live stream, I have to drink. Cause will it still be good if I don't? And sometimes I got more drunk than other times, right? There's a few streams where I didn't remember the stream ending. I would wake up naked in bed with the worst dry mouth, and then it's 5 o'clock in the morning, stumble to the bathroom to take a piss, right? And I walk by and the microphone's still out, the screens are on, StreamYard's still up, and I was like, oh no, what happened? What happened?
It sounds wild.
Yeah, but so we would have this round robin kind of deal and would go around, and I always felt bad because sometimes people wouldn't get to talk for 20 minutes or so. There would be crosstalk, but while people were promoting their campaigns, everybody else had to stay quiet. And I was always looking at the guests and I was like, God, these people fucking hate me so much. They're just so glad I came on the show to not talk. And then it's funny when I started doing this. So now, instead of having a bunch of people on, I'll do several shows a week sometimes, depending on the week, and give you guys the focus, give you guys the whole show. And I've had a couple people now tell me that they missed that. They missed the panel aspect because I guess a lot of people met new creators, and I introduced a lot of people to other cool new creators and stuff. And I was like, you just can't win with you fucking indie comic book creators. You're just never happy.
Hey man, if you ever want to do crosstalk again, I'm up for that.
I keep thinking about it. Now everybody's been not everybody, but several people have been like, man, I kind of miss that, Blake. And I'm like, man, I thought this is what people would want. Yeah, give me a whole hour to talk about me. And
maybe if I
but
had
it's never just you guys. It's a lot of me. It's a lot of Blake telling weird stories. But we get back there. We get back to the island.
There's only so much you can talk about a giant ape fighting a. It's not that deep of a topic.
Yeah. That's true, but it's.
Do you have any other Kickstarters you wanted to talk about? Then
no. No, I mean, I guess if you guys want to go to metalninjastudios.com/Kickstarter, we're on our last couple days of Dust County Chronicles, and we are approaching our first stretch goal. We're like $80 away from our stretch goal. Travis Gibb is going to write us a short story, a prose short story within the mythos of Dust County. So we're working on that. And then I'm about to redo everything. Because like right now, if you go to blakesbuzz.com, it goes to my Substack, and I'm about to make it to where when you go to blakesbuzz.com, it goes to like a link tree kind of deal where I'll have all my clients' Kickstarter links. I have the link in my bio, but it's not, it doesn't have the glamour link, right? So it's like hard to say. And just because like, even on YouTube, like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere's getting weird about posting links now. And they get like hard. And so it's like, you have to like either like if it's a bit.ly link, then you have to be like, okay, yeah, like I hope someone types this in, or like highlight the link and copy paste it into your browser. You can't rely on people doing that. So like I figure like if I start doing like videos and stuff and I'm like, go to blakesbuzz.com, all your shit's right there. Right. And that's easy. Like blakesbuzz.com is easy. And so you just like, boom, go, all the links are there. You get to click. So like, I think that's about to happen this weekend. Finally, I'm going to switch all that over, but that's the plan. But metalninjastudios.com/Kickstarter. It's a very cool book. And it's the third and final issue of this arc that my boss, Joel Rodriguez, spent like 5 years making. Great art. Really Roman Gubsky's he just brings the nightmare to life in a lot of great ways, and some really cool variants. Francesco Fantini has a really great variant with us, and so did Joseph Schmalke has a good variant. So like there's some cool stuff, and we're doing a giveaway. So if you guys back the campaign at a physical level, and then you share the campaign and tag us, and then you go to the Kickstarter page and comment, I think it's either bring me the horror or show me the horror. It's all in the graphic, but like basically you can win a first grand prize is like a metal set of covers, like a four metal variant set. It's a high dollar prize, and yeah, not many people have entered. So like if you do back and enter it, you have a pretty solid chance of like winning this high dollar cover set. So just throwing that out there. But yeah, that's been fun. Like managing the campaign and like doing the Kickstarter updates, and then like, you know, we message like the new backers and we're like, hey, thanks for backing, and you know, like I'm doing that, and I do that for Merc and Black Ops too, our big client at Metal Ninja Studios, which has their campaign, which is Jesse Zombie Hunter, which is a adult comic, but it's sitting at like $81,000 right now, because it's like people love those titty covers, man. They really love them. And you know, whatever. It's like some people have joked, and they're like, oh, you're helping make porn comics, and it's like, I'm helping make comics. That's all. That's all I give a shit about. You know, like the people are buying this stuff and they're enjoying it and they're collecting it, and they're, you know, I'm not gonna draw straws. You know, like I wish Kongutan had some of that. You know, I wish, you know, like I wish this had 700 backers. You know, like I that's the only bummer, right? Is like some Kickstarter I feel like kind of draws a lot more attention than others, and that attention comes from like, you know, nudie covers, and yeah, some of these books have like, you know, nudity and sex in the book, but they're still fun comics, and like they're still the art, like they pay a lot of money for great art, and so like the art's good, you know, it's like they're pretty to look at in more than one way, actually. So but yeah, it's been fun, like working on these Kickstarter I went in and did like all the graphics and set up tiers and stuff the other day, and I was like, wow, this is fucking exhausting. I mean, I felt really bad for all you guys who have to do this all. I was just like, oh my God, like it's just, and they do these cover drops. They like these like mid-campaign cover drops. And then you have to like, I'm not designing the graphics, our designer is, but you have to go in, you have to update everything. You have to do a Kickstarter, you have to do a post and update. Then you have to post, like change the campaign page layout, make sure all the graphics are good. One of my new jobs is to make sure that there's no nipples or bottom half slippages. I got to make sure all the bits are covered up appropriately. We missed one the other day and deleted the graphic real quick and waited for the designer to fix it and go back and upload it. No one caught it though. We were like, whew. Like Kickstarter didn't even catch it, but we were like, my boss was like, Blake, get on the computer now. I was like, what's going on? He's like, we gotta take this down. I was like, oh shit, yeah. And we had a rogue nipple and a rogue butthole. You know, things I never knew that I would have to deal with. And it's like even my work emails, like I get these like naked images in my work email now. So, and some are like cosplayer covers too of like actual models, and it's like whoa, it's crazy. Like a lot of jobs you get in trouble for sending emails like these, and here it's like not only do I get them, I have to like organize them in Dropbox and then share them with everybody. Make sure everybody sees the titties and the asses and everything. So it's fun. But anyways, that's what I do for a living now, and I wouldn't change it for the world. It's stressful sometimes, but it's exciting, and it's a different. I always wanted to write comics and be involved in comics, but this is cool too. Like this whole marketing PR journey I kind of stumbled into. Like it's exciting. It's fun, and it's a different way to be in the industry, and seems safe. So you know, like I'm not hopefully wake up tomorrow and still employed. Now that I said that, I probably just fucked myself. I'll probably wake up tomorrow. It's gonna be a fire and everything's gonna be shut down. And you know, hopefully, right now I'm employed at this moment in time. But
enjoy it while you know, good times roll.
Yeah, enjoy it while it lasts.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, guys, I've kept you for an hour and a half, and I know you guys are starting your day, and you probably have shit to do, and you probably I'm sure Mitch has deadlines, and Gary's got words or children somewhere maybe that you got to corral. I don't know what you I don't know what you guys fucking do over there on that side of the planet. But real quick, because I am the polite host that I am, let's let everybody know where to like follow you. If you guys have like a web store or newsletter or something like that, like now's the time. Mitch, where's the best place to keep track of you?
Instagram. You can follow me at Collins_illustration on there. That's me. I'm also on Twitter, but X as it's called now.
We don't call it that here, Mitch. We don't.
No, don't call it. What is it? So it's just Twitter.
It's Twitter. It's always gonna be Twitter. Or you can call it Twix. I call it Twix sometimes, like the candy bar, because I'm clever.
That's not a bad one,
right? That's better than X.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Hire me, Elon. I'll save your fucking platform.
Twix. Use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then just on Twitter, that's pretty much my two major platforms.
Nice. Yeah. You got like a website or web store or anything?
I do have a website. Now that you've reminded me, that's www.mcillustration.net is my
nice
my URL. So
everybody go check that out and follow him on Instagram and Twitter and wherever. Like he's a great artist, and I'm excited to keep track of him now. Like now that I've gotten to know you, and we're pretty much, Mitch, when you come on my show, we're friends now, whether you want it or not. Woo. And so you're now you're a buddy, and now I care about you, so I'm gonna have to keep track of your career and support you and shit. So thanks for that, Gary. More shit for me to deal with.
Another hand.
Yeah. Okay, Gary, how about you, bud? Where's the best place to keep track of you these days?
Well, on Twix, apparently, you can find me at Gary_Proudley. Proudley is like a weird name if you spell it properly with the E. So wherever you go, you'll be able to find me if you just search for that. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Instagram, even though I don't really use it. I'm on Facebook. And now I'm on Blue Sky too. So come to that, because that seems like a good Twix alternative.
The sky is greener.
Yeah, it is.
Makes no sense, but that sounds good when you say it. No, I like Blue Sky's getting better. For a while it wasn't bad, right? But there wasn't as many people, but a lot more comic book people are flocking there. And also like I feel like everybody's got an invite now, because I have like 4 Blue Sky accounts for like me and Metal Ninja and Invader and right. And so I have like 15 invite codes, and I'm always like, does anybody want these goddamn things? And everybody's like, I'm already here. And it's like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
I tried. Another one that's worth checking out these days too is Threads. And a lot of people have something to say about Threads, but there's a good, like, the comic book community is like holding on for dear life there. I kind of dig it. Like everybody's like trying to stay. It's a nice little comic book niche if you guys are ever looking for another time waster, if you're like me and just love posting the same status like 6 different times, several times a day, it's amazing. But you can use it on desktop now, which is nice. It's you don't have to, you're not like restricted to the mobile app and stuff. But anyways, it's something to think about. But yeah, Blue Sky's a rad place. I'm there too. You can find me Blake's Buzz everywhere. And definitely hit up Gary. Gary's great people. He's making great comics, and he's just a good dude to have in your corner. But also like I want to be in his corner, so don't steal my fucking Kool-Aid. Gary's mine, basically, is what mine and David. Gary can only have me and David Hazan, and that's it. There's no one. We are all that he has time and energy for, because we just siphon it from him till he's like a Slim Jim husk. Till he's like a slab of jerky.
I wish.
Oh man, so yeah, everybody, Kongutan versus Kraken, it's got 8 days left. You got to check it out. There's links everywhere. It's easy to find. If you could also Google Kongutan versus Kraken, it's the first thing that pops up. It's a unique title. I love it. It's a good comic. It's worth a read. These guys are good creators. They're worth supporting. They're good people. That's basically all I got to say. Everybody who hung out in the chat tonight, like thank you all so much. I really, when I do multiple shows a week and you all come out and hang out with me and comment and stuff and hang out with us, it really does mean a lot. Like I don't think you all know how good that feels to, just to have the regular faces pop up, new faces too. But it's very appreciative, and I love that a lot of you spend some of your nights with me or days with me, or like wake up in bed with me. That doesn't happen in a long time. Wow. Anyway, I always got to make it weird somehow. But yeah, everybody, like, again, thank you, Gary, Mitch. It was so great to have you. Gary, it's great to have you back. Mitch, it was great to meet you.
Yeah,
anything Blake's Buzz can ever do for you in the future, like, you guys are great to talk to. Have you back on anytime. And I'm definitely excited about this world you're building, and I'm here for it. Like I want these successes to keep happening, and I want these new campaigns to drop, and I want new monster stories drawn by Mitch. I want Gary, and Gary's gonna get the hell out of here. Like, no,
he'll oversee.
Well, everybody, remember, love more, hate less, read comics. That's the deal here. That's what we believe in. And gentlemen, unless you have anything else you'd like to shout out or say, I'm going to play the music and set you free.
No, just thank you.
Thank you very much.
Always welcome, guys. Have a great night, everybody.
It's Blake's Buzz Live.